So I'm Esme. I'm a Wilder Communities Officer for Herts and Middlesex Wildlife Trust, so I work with him. And I'm going to chat to you a little bit about Wilder St Albans. I'm going to try and keep it brief because I know we've got quite a lot to get through. So basically, Wilder St Albans, it's a partnership with St Albans City and District Council. It started in 2021 by my colleague Heidi, and I took it over July last year, so I'm doing part of it, and then Gina's also doing part of it as well. And it's basically, my role is to support people to look after wildlife where they are, basically, and facilitate community-led action for local wildlife. So the aim of Wilder St Albans is primarily to increase biodiversity across the district. So as Tim has already explained, we have this 30 by 30 target, and Wilder St Albans brings that down to district level. So we're aiming to have 30% of St Albans land managed for wildlife. We've got a bit of a way to go. At the moment, we have around 16% of our land that's considered natural or semi-natural habitat. But as Tim said, everyone has a role, everyone can do something. So that's kind of the core message behind Wilder St Albans, is the fact that we can do something. Little or big, but obviously bigger is better. We want everyone to do as much as they can. So I think I'm just going to go through a few elements of Wilder St Albans that we've got through for this year, but we've still got time on the project to go. But yeah, so the first thing is our Wilder Spaces initiative. So this was, we asked people in St Albans for nominations for sites for a reduced mowing regime, basically. So it's finding areas that aren't being used by people at the moment or wildlife that we might be able to enhance to create grass and habitat. So there were 120 nominations, and the council sifted through them to find ones that were suitable. So we wanted places that weren't being used for recreation, wouldn't create any health and safety incidents or affect access or anything like that. And 42 have gone through this process and been accepted. So last spring, they started this reduced mowing regime. And it's a really nice initiative because it's taking these places that aren't being used by anyone really and managing them better for wildlife. But they also can be really pretty spaces. Grasslands support wildflowers and they can be really beautiful. So it's kind of making these spaces that are better for wildlife, but the people can enjoy them too. So we're hoping they'll become these amazing, colourful areas across St Albans. So then we had our Wilderhood Watch Wildlife Gardening Champions. But we do have Nadia here from Wilderhood Watch, so she's going to go over that, I think, more, just a little bit. But I wanted to flag it because Wilderhood Watch have been such a big part of Wilder St Albans, and they're such a great group, and the Gardening Champions was a really nice aspect of Wilder St Albans. So it's basically 15 volunteers that were trained to give advice to people in St Albans to improve their gardens for wildlife. And it's nice because it's a way to kind of encourage people and make people realise that there's only small little things that they need to do, but sometimes it's having that little bit of reassurance to make you realise you can actually do it. So that's a really nice part of Wilder St Albans. And then we also have our Wilder Schools network. So this is schools in St Albans that want to do something for wildlife. So this could be managing their land better for wildlife, incorporating wildlife into their curriculum, or doing more outdoor learning. So we gather at a different school every few months, and this school can present what they've been doing for wildlife, basically. But it's really nice because the teachers can come together and kind of share their experiences and say what's going well, what's not going as well, and it's really nice to hear all the creative ways that the teachers are involving wildlife in their schools, but also how they're engaging the students with it as well. So yeah, next slide please. So this is, I've got a couple of examples of some good community projects that have happened throughout Wild St Albans. So the first photo is, just get it right, yeah. So it's this one here is St Dominic Catholic Primary School in Harpenden, and they basically created this wildflower meadow on their school grounds, and it's 100 metres squared of perennial wildflowers, and that every class in the school was involved in making it, and it's really nice because it's amazing for wildlife, obviously, but they also called it their mindfulness meadow, and we're encouraging students to kind of use it as a place to sit and reflect and spend time in nature. So again, a really nice example of how you can manage an area for wildlife, but also it'd be a great place for people as well. And then we've got the furthest photo, which is St Albans District Scouts, and they planted, I think it was 1,600 trees in Westfield Road Cemetery, and they did a huge mix, but there was hawthorns, hazel, dog rose, and they created almost 250 metres of new hedgerow. And this is really important. It's such a great habitat. It provides shelter and food, and it's also a great corridor for wildlife to travel through. And this is really important to provide as more and more as time goes on, because the habitats are becoming super fragmented. So that was a really nice project, and it was actually part of the St Albans City and District Council's tree planting scheme. So those are some community projects, but it's also important to say that individual actions are just as amazing and just as important. Next slide. So we've got some great tips and stuff on our website, which I think I'll get you to circulate and stuff. But there really is some great individual actions that anyone can do, whatever space they have. And I think, again, Nadia will probably touch on that as well. But it's important to know that you as an individual can do quite a lot for nature, and then even better when you come together and do it together. So then on from that, we've created this map, again on our website. And we're encouraging anyone that's doing something for wildlife, to tell us about it. And we've been putting them on our map, and it's really nice because it's good for us to know what's happening and where it's happening. But it's also really great to have it to inspire people. If you go along and see, you can hover over the icons and you can see who's doing what. And it's just nice to get some ideas from it and see what people are doing, and you can adapt them to how you would like to do them and what space you have is appropriate for you. But yeah, so it's a really nice resource to have because it's great, it's inspiring to see what everyone's doing, and people are really creative with it as well. So yeah, please, if you're doing anything, then get in touch and let us know, and I can add you to our map. But yeah, so that's kind of it for Wild St Albans. So hopefully you can pick up some ideas for Redbourn. So, Nadia. Thank you.